All right. So today we're on to section B from the, or C, sorry, from the holiday planner report. I lost the one. Of course, Asher, that's fine. First of all, let's clear up any questions from yesterday. So any questions from yesterday's work that you would like to ask, you can type them in the chat now. Or if it's a long question, you can turn on your microphone and ask.
I have one question.
Okay, let's start with Lewis.
Oh, no, Pauline can go first. It's fine.
Okay, let's start with Pauline.
Okay, so on what is due on Thursday? Is it just all the 18 questions that are due on Thursday?
The 18 questions, just your first draft of them, first go, first attempt in your workbook. Yes, that's for Thursday. The picture for section B, the picture of the commission's currency exchange, you can leave that. I don't need that in your draft. Just put that in your actual one next Thursday. So there's no major pressure on that one. You've got over a week to do that. What other questions are in the chat? Brianna.
I just have one question.
I'll just get to the chat and then I'll be back with you, Lewis. So, forgot to do yesterday's work. You forgot. Hopefully, you get it all done today. Charlie, are we getting more questions today? Yes, they're ready on ManageBack for you. There's 4 new questions. Okay, thank you, Anita. Lewis, your question?
Will you be explaining anything today? If not, can we already start?
I'm just very quickly going to go through it, and the video is already there with a full explanation. Okay. So let's look at. Oh, Caleb, you have a question?
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Collins. I have a quick question. Today is it only section C? Because yesterday we had A and B, and today just C.
I know.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Collins.
Okay, so this is day 2 of the holiday planner. It is section C. We're talking about buying flight tickets. Okay, so for this, you have an option to pick. So you're going to fly from Denpasar. Obviously, do not attempt to book anything. That's an understatement. This is only practice. Do not follow through on any booking. So we're going to fly from Denpasar to one of these 3. You can now pick today which one of these 3 you're going to send the family to. So it's one of these 3 airports in one of these 3 countries. So USA, it's New York. Italy, it's Rome. And Australia, it's a place called Devonport. So I don't know if you've heard of Devonport, but it's an airport in Australia. You can look it up on a map if you want. All right, so your idea is that you go to this link. I will leave. Go to this link, and it will start you with Denpasar. Now, you pick any date after, so you have to go into next year, after May 1st. So that was the first date they were available to go. That was the first date they were available to go, so May 1st. So you pick the date, make sure they have saved the money for then. So when are they starting to save? Remember, you're only going to present this to the family on the 3rd of December. So that's the first time they'll hear about all the savings and stuff. So that's the first time they'll start saving. So just make sure they have everything saved up before May 1st. And then 2 weeks later, so it can be May 1st if you want. And then 2 weeks later, just add 14 days. If you did May 1st, it'd be May 15th for the return. So you do May 1st and then May 15th. This is an example. You don't have to do that. You would have to set adults to 4 because there's 4 adults, no children on this one. Okay, and then you can pick whichever one. So I'm going to do Devonport. See, Devonport in Australia. Maybe it's not as exotic. And it is a return flight. Do the return flight. Okay. So if I search flights, it's going to eventually come up with some options for that flight. Now, you will have to do the fastest and the cheapest. So you see there's fastest here. It's done for you. Fastest here and cheapest here. See the difference in price? 16 million, that's per person, versus 13 million per person. Okay, so 16 million. If I click on the fastest, that will change it to the fastest down here. And this is the one that you would do. So you would look at that one. And this is the information you need to take down. What time does it go at? Who's our airlines? What time does it land? You can get a little bit more information here. You're just taking down this information. So it leaves Bali at 10:55. It stops in Melbourne. You have to connect in the airport. So you just write this information down, the journey duration, the length of time as well, and do it for the return as well. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to stop sharing. Hopefully that makes sense. So you've got to do both the cheapest and the fastest. So there's two options. So you saw the cheapest in that example I gave was about 13 million, and the fastest was about 16 million per person. Okay. Any more questions in the chat? Wait, when do we start the booklets? You started on Thursday, so you have to have the draft in before you start the actual thing. You will have 1 week to complete the booklets. That's a real booking website. Yeah, it is. But do not book. So you have your budget there, your savings budget. If your price of flights is looking very expensive, you might need to tell the family to adjust their budget, but that's up to you. That's what you tell them. And so the link is on ManageBack. It's called Skyscanner. The link is on ManageBack in that document. So go to today's document. I just followed the link out of that. So you'll be asked for...
When do we start saving?
Excuse me?
When do they start saving?
They start saving when you present it to them. So that's going to be on the 3rd of December. That's the first date they can start saving from. Because they don't know yet, because you're their planner, so they haven't done anything yet. Okay, so the questions are, and this is on the video as well, pick the date that you're going to start them off on. Just make sure they've saved the money for them, and that's the answer to question 8. What date are you going to start the flight at? Question 9 then is do the cheapest flight. Question 10 is the quickest flight, and question 11 is a debating question. So there's no right answer. It's just the statement: time is money, and discuss. And can you use ratios to see which flight is the best? So I talk about that a little bit more in the video. I'm not going to talk that much more about that one. Okay. All right. What does book mean? Actually buy them. You don't actually want to buy them, Asya, because you're not going to go to Devonport in May, because you will be here. Okay. So how long is the trip? 2 weeks. How many people? 4 people. What if you misclick something on book? You won't book it unless unless you give credit card details and stuff. So you'll be asked for credit card details and stuff like that, and it's not going to happen. So you don't need to go beyond that page I went to. So I'll remind you of the page. You're just checking out the flight. If you're unsure, you can have an adult with you as you look at the website. That's okay. You can wait and do that later. But you're absolutely fine. It definitely reminds you to pay first. You won't be able to book until you pay.
Mr. Collins?
Yes, Kaden.
Can we go and start the work now?